up, everyone? Welcome to another episode of the Shorty Show, where it gets as random as, I'm probably going to get canceled for this, but did you know, as there's a woman hearing from outside there, so I might get some comments, that some women base their relationships off the compatibility of their astrology signs. So if I'm a Leo, I can only date this, and if I'm a Leo, I cannot date that. Does that make you feel some sort of way?
I am a Libra, and my ex was a Cancer, so I'm in my only dating Virgos right now energy.
And Scorpios, they're toxic. But with that being said, co-host Justin Hong and special guest, the man himself, King David.
Let's go!
So
keep clapping. Keep clapping. Let's go.
So what's the name in general, King David?
Yeah, so King David. So, okay, first of all, there's a gentleman in Las Vegas who is a street legend. Mm-hmm. His name is the Bionic Dave Terrell, right? And he's not the Dave Terrell from California. He's Dave Terrell from Vegas, but he's well known in the nightlife industry out here. He got in a street fight with Tito Ortiz. He's got 12 MMA fights. He beat Tiki at one point. Mm-hmm. And I was at a strip club with him, and then he was talking to an exotic dancer, and he was like, "Hey, I'm Dave. I met you at Chuck Liddell's table the other night." And she's like, "Dave?" He's like, "Yeah, Dave, like the king, King David. He was a warrior and a poet." And I was like, "I'm stealing that." And this was back then. I said, "I'm putting that on my MySpace." And so I just completely stole it from him and put it on my MySpace back in the day. And I just kind of ran with it, you know?
Now, with your MySpace, what song did you have with it?
Oh, bro, I had at one point Lollipop. And my ex-girlfriend, before I ever met her, she DM'd me and she said, "I want to lick the fighter," right? Because, lick you like I want to lick the rapper. Yeah. And then we started talking, and then we met actually on there, right? Because of the song I had.
Just taking it back to the name. So what's the real name then? Like your first and last name?
Yeah, so my real name is David Bolea, right? And that starts to get into a whole other subject because there's a celebrity whose last name is the same as mine. And then that sometimes takes away from the martial arts aspect of it. Mm-hmm. So I typically stick with King David MMA. But once people start asking what's your real last name, then it's like, wait, that's Hulk Hogan's last name? And I'm like, yeah, he's my uncle. And then,
Fun fact, do you know Hulk Hogan's first and last name?
I do not.
Trivia.
Terry Bollea.
Right.
Huh.
Yeah. So actually, if we're being super, super accurate, Hulk Hogan is an intellectual property owned by the WWE, and Terry Bollea is my uncle. And I actually learned that because I put out a sizzle reel for a reality show called My Girlfriend Wants a Girlfriend, starring me, King David Hogan, which was my name at the time.
Yeah.
And then the WWE is like, "Yo, we own that." You know what I mean? And I was like, "What?" And they're like, "You don't want to get sued by a billionaire." Mm-hmm. And so essentially, Vince had the rights to the name Hulk Hogan at the time. My uncle had licensed the rights to Vince McMahon for 3 years for $10 million or something like that. Mm-hmm. So now me saying it, trying to pitch a reality show, I'm now fumbling a $10 million bag for my uncle. You know what I mean? I'm infringing on his trademark that is now WWE's trademark, and yeah. So
you started to get into that Hulk Hogan side. Right. You don't want to be sued, so you just put it down straight to King David.
Right, yeah. So it was... I'm King David Hogan. I've been around the world and fought on national TV. I've dated some of the hottest women alive, but what happens when every girl you meet is hot? I need more than just a pretty face. I need something that's real. That's why I've got 16 of the hottest girls on the planet that want to fight for my love. But there's a catch. There's always a catch. I've already got a girlfriend. She's bisexual, and that means she likes girls. So ladies, if you want to get with me, you've got to get with her. This is My Girlfriend Wants a Girlfriend, starring me, King David Hogan. And then that was infringing on the Hogan intellectual property.
Dude, that's fucking awesome.
Yeah.
How long ago was that?
That must have been a decade ago.
That's insane that you remember that.
That's fucking awesome. That kind of reminds me.
Bars.
Yeah.
Bars.
Well, it reminds me of the shows in 2000 at MTV, where the Next or the crazy dating shows they had, they were pretty fucked up.
Right. That's where I got it. So I saw a show with Tila Tequila, and I was like, dude, that would be dope if I was on this show. And then on the season 2 of Tila Tequila, we look for a chick together. And I was like, why don't I just pitch a show with that, And And then I kept that in my head. And then when I got a girlfriend, I was like, hey, listen, I don't know if you're bisexual or not, but let's get this bag, right? You know what I mean?
I got this whole idea already worked out.
It's all acting. You know, we just have these threesomes as like an act, right? Like just make out with girls on camera. Like you're not really into girls. You know what I mean? Yeah. So
what was the whole Vince McMahon story you were telling me earlier, where it's like he's just doing all this stuff from the documentary, but he has a wife the whole time. He's like, all right, no, you play this part, but I'm gonna play this part with the female. It's part of the storyline. So if I have to grope her or do this, it's just part of the storyline. It is what it is. It's not cheating.
Yeah. The Vince McMahon documentary is freaking wild. Even if you don't like pro wrestling, go watch that. You'll see a dude who's playing like the boundary of the line and like stepping over it habitually by like writing storylines where his wife has to watch him make out with fitness models because it's quote unquote part of the story. And it's like, dude, this guy got the ultimate glitch in the Matrix. He's like figured out the system. So yeah, watch that if you haven't seen it.
That's fine. Have you watched it yet?
I have not.
I'll check it out.
No, I want to watch it. No, I want to watch it.
Yeah, one of the storylines he was trying to pitch was his daughter gets pregnant and she doesn't know if it's his. You know what I mean?
Oh my gosh.
So if you're into pure nonsense, go check out the Vince documentary. It's fucking insane.
That's
What's the worst story there is out there about Vince McMahon?
The worst story, like a real story, or like
like the worst confirmed story.
Well, I've allegedly heard that he is being, I don't know, sued or prosecuted for defecating on a female employee and then making her perform sex acts on multiple people or something to that effect while still defecated on, apparently.
It's like a 2 girls 1 cup type of thing, but with Vince McMahon.
That's a classic, bro.
It really is.
My guy's search history is on fire.
Have you ever watched 2 Girls 1 Cup?
I almost vomited when someone was like, dude, check this out. And I'm like, okay, these chicks are hot or whatever. And then it got off the rails real quick.
Yeah. No,
I've heard about it so much, but I've never seen it.
Don't Google it right now. Don't Google it, whatever you do.
It.
Like you hear all the stories about like the Pain Olympics, right? And like, you know, the screwdrivers and the honestly, Sharpies going down the hole.
I want you to do crazy shit. Don't ever do that. That one's one of those where it's like, even I'm saying that's dumb. Don't look at it. Don't watch it. There's no reason
Mason
to watch
jars
it.
up the rear end.
Like it's a lot.
Yeah, we're not endorsing any of this behavior. That behavior is
we're just saying it's out there for you to watch if you want to.
Don't try it at home.
Please don't.
Professionals were involved. So
and if you're gonna try it
were
at
they
home,
though?
But see, if you try it at home, film it because you might get famous off of it.
Yeah. So if you wanna drop the new hot mixtape on the internet, go get inspired, or maybe don't. I don't know.
You released some demons earlier today, so just imagine on someone else. You film it. Damn.
What is it about that? What gets your rocks off about defecating on someone?
Maybe he had to go. Maybe he had to go. You know what I mean?
Oh my gosh!
But on somebody,
I don't have a toilet. Let's use your mouth. It's like
when's the last time you've ever touched shit?
Well, the last time was probably if
for you specifically.
Yeah, if you're wiping aggressively.
And you pop a hole.
Yeah, man.
Oh, dude, that sucks.
Right, yeah.
Like,
and then you're like bleaching your hands in fucking boiling hot water and shit.
But that's your own shit.
Right.
Just imagine somebody else's.
Right. So this is my issue with pet owners. Okay. Right. So if I was on a date with a woman, right, first date, everything's going well, we've got chemistry. You know what I mean? I'm like, hey, you want to go back to my place? She's like, yeah. I would like that. I'm like, 1 second. And I took a shit on the sidewalk, right? And I'm like, hey, grab a plastic bag and pick that up. The date's over, right? She's calling the feds on me. Now, she's going to own a pet, right? And she's going to pick up dog shit every day of her life like it's just totally cool. Mm-hmm. And it's like, oh, well, the dog can't help itself. It's like, well, that's no excuse. You're a human. You're a unemployed shit picker-upper at this point, you know? Mm-hmm. So that's why I don't have a dog.
Just work at a hospital or a hospice center.
Or volunteer, right?
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, volunteer. Yeah.
If you're going to do it, might as well be for the good.
In fact, you pay for their food and then you feed them too.
Yeah, why can't you pick up
and
his
then
shit?
bathe them?
No, this man's a king.
Right. No, but no, I'm not suggesting that's what I'm into or anything. I'm just saying as a thought experiment, right? Like no woman would go on a date with a dude he was just like, oh yeah, man, I just shit all over the place and I don't use toilets. Right, but if a dog does it, it's all right. You know.
But is that how you confirm that there's going to be a second date if she picks it up? You just take a shit and then stare at her, give her the bag. It's like
no, I'm on this egg wave right now, where I'm just telling women to cook me eggs, You know, and if they're like into that idea, then I'm like, all right, we can kick it. And if they're not, then I'm just like, dude, I don't know if this is gonna work.
All right, what if she cooks you an egg style that she doesn't want, that you don't like?
Right,
like sunny side up,
deviled egg or something.
Yeah, randomly takes the time to make a deviled egg.
Listen, that hasn't happened yet, so we're gonna cross that bridge when we get to it.
Okay.
Right? Yeah.
I'm just trying to prepare you. I'm trying to help you out here, you know?
Yeah, well, no, and so like, okay, so we're at a gym. There's a lot of guys there, right? So I do the pro practice and I do the amateur practice. And the amateur practice has got younger guys. And they've got all these dating problems, you know? And then you see these dating coaches online and they're like, never bring up politics on a date because you're not going to get a second date if you disagree. And my head, I'm like, you guys are going about this all wrong, right? You got to figure out what you want, right? I don't know what women want. Bro, they want you to know what you want, right? Figure that out. And then she's either compatible with that or not, you know? So start having a set of criteria in your head and then go talk to enough women until you meet women who meet your criteria.
So like Leos and Libras.
Exactly, right? Yeah,
okay.
yeah. So
making sure.
If you're into astrology, right, and you know you're a Scorpio, you might need a Aquarius in your life.
Yeah, I don't know if that's compatible or not, but you know, let's look this up.
Wait, when was that ever useful? Out of curiosity, like
what the
astrology stuff? Like,
I don't know. It became
these
super
bitches
popular.
crossing the sea or something.
It became super popular to where now people base their calendar off of it. Like, oh, this is the 2nd of October. It's how my horoscope, my astrology horoscope tells me this is how my day is going to be. And it's like,
I'll tell you what, every day of the year, my horoscope works. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
No, this guy. You know, so there's a quote out there, and I don't know how factual it is or not, but we'll just say it on the internet and pretend like it's true and then just spread it.
Oh,
right?
for sure.
And it was something to the effect of like, millionaires study astronomy, billionaires study astrology. And it was there's like case studies where like whoever, Barbara Bush, who was the, you know, former first lady, like she wouldn't have her wedding on a day that was not consistent with the stars. Oh, there we go. Right here, let me you want me to get that? Or could they hear that?
Yeah, go get it. Why not? Fuck
All
it.
right,
We're here.
We'll answer it on the air.
Yeah.
I thought it was me for a second.
I was just like,
I was wondering why that stopped. Because it says
doesn't like it.
There's 10 hours of video on there available at 4K.
Yeah, that's bill collectors. We don't answer that.
those bastards. I was
So
like,
I
this
turned
man's
it
a
on.
super popular guy. No, they just want your money. Where were we?
No clue. Yeah,
Astrology signs.
Astrology.
Yes.
Barbara Bush.
Yeah, so Barbara Bush.
No wedding.
Right,
Rap
she wouldn't do a
mother-
wedding
no.
unless it aligned with the stars. And then there's all these cases of people who won't do deals or they won't go to a meeting unless it's like astrologically compatible with what they believe.
The kid fuckers.
Right. Right. Okay. Yeah. Right. So, I mean, I don't know if there's any truth to it or not, but you know, some people, as a conspiracy theory, would say that the people who enjoy company of younger people who control the world, they're very into that. It's anti-God, and then they are pushing an anti-God agenda, and they are promoting astrology on Bumble.
Because I'm just joking. They
Right.
don't fuck kids. They just drink their blood.
Right.
I don't even know how to respond to that.
Right. Speaking of Diddy.
Yeah, I was like, where do we go from here?
Yeah, Diddy talk. Let's go. Let's get into it.
Oh, what did you do on your last podcast? What was it? The whole Diddy conversation that was
Oh,
consensual or not consensual?
Yeah, because they didn't understand like why it's sex trafficking. You know, like coercing women, like offering them position, income, and opportunity, and then transporting them across state lines for sex. You know what I mean?
No, I get it, but no.
Speaking of this Shorty
Oh
Torres
my
shirt, right? We got the merch over here. I got the swagged out Shorty
I appreciate
Torres
it, man. Thank you.
shirt.
The beautiful city of Chirac.
You know what's fucked up is like I love my fans, but I'll make shirts. I'll even make big shirts because I usually go to 2X and lower. And some guy's like, "Oh, dude, I want a 3X," and I'll put it on the website, and it costs more money to make bigger shirts.
Right.
I make it 3X, and they're like, "Oh no, I just wanted to see if you would make it. I'm not gonna buy it." And I'm like, "You son of a bitch." And then I'll sell, let's say, half of the merchandise, and then usually after that, if there's a period of a week or 2 weeks where things don't sell or a month, I'm like, all right, well, I'm just gonna start giving them away. And so I started giving them away at the gym. You know, Patchy has it, you have it, a bunch of other fighters. And so they've been posting it. And now people are like, dude, I want some merch. I'm like, go fuck yourselves, man. I had this out for like 2 months, and now you call me because King Dave and Apache and all these people are wearing it. I hate you guys.
Yeah, so
That's kind of your fault. That for marketing next time, right?
I guess. I mean, dude, I promoted really well,
Should
but
have gave them shirts first.
well, listen, hey, if you're listening to this, the important information is the next Shorty Torres drop. You got to get on board in advance because you don't want to be one of those dudes that are out there going like, dude, I want some merch. And he's like, it's gone, bro.
actually, it happens most of the time. I'm like, dude, it's gone. I only make things once and that's it. I never remake it.
Yeah, so if you want the Teflon Team Torres tee, you better jump on board and get it.
I'm like Supreme, where I make it once. This is the inventory. Once it's gone, it's gone.
Right.
Limited drop.
Yeah, actually, I'm
There it
poor.
is.
I can't do anything more than that. But it's like I have new stuff coming out, and for people who don't know, like I donate everything. So
Right.
I actually lose money making T-shirts.
Oh, wow.
So when I pay for whatever, hopefully it pays for itself when it comes to the T-shirt sales, and then everything after just goes to the foundation. So
Right.
once I break even, it goes to the foundation. So I make no money off of
Right,
this.
and so I know you have a foundation. I don't know anything about it.
So for me, Team Shorty Foundation, and we talked about it when my brother was here, it helps kids, teens, and young adults stay inside the gym and off the streets.
Oh, that's
so
awesome.
depending on what neighborhood you're from, I'm from the South Side of Chicago, Cicero as well, where, man, you hang out in the streets, bad shit happens, or you meet bad people, and then you get peer pressure and stuff. You're probably a teenager experimenting or a young adult trying to figure out who the fuck you are, do some dumb stuff, but if you go inside the gym, you're in a safe space, and you get to let your anger out and possibly talk to people like yourself, where you're like, this is kind of cool. I got some cool mentors or people who are trying to follow the same path with me. Again, a lion hangs out with lions. It doesn't go hang out with hyenas.
Right.
So that's what I try to do. And whether you want to do MMA or not, it gets you inside the gym in a positive place where the gym teaches you responsibilities, morals, ethics, all these different things, not just fighting and self-discipline and stuff like that. So it gives kids a different opportunity, or even young adults as well.
So it's called the Team Shorty Foundation,
Yeah, man.
and it helps kids and young adults get into the gym and off the streets. So if there's a mom who wants to get her kid involved, how does she get her child involved with you and getting her child off the streets?
Oh, she got to DM me.
Hey, let's
If there's a single mom, that is. I love how that
If
was
you're
posed.
a single mom, awesome. Depends how many kids you have. Now, the biggest thing is I like to help good people.
Okay.
I don't like to help good athletes. Like, yes, if you're a good athlete, a good person, hell yeah, I'm gonna
Well, I'm
sponsor
both,
you.
but we're not talking
But
about me.
so
Right.
I got you. But if you're a good athlete but a bad person, Mike Tyson talks about this all the time. I know really, really good people or good athletes or whatever the case may be that just aren't good people. So for me, I want people who are paying it forward. So if I see your kids giving back to the community or the gyms themselves or even just in their neighborhood, like, yeah, I want to help these kids. So if mothers, fathers, whomever, I've been able to sponsor kids from outside the country as well, from word of mouth. Of like, all right, cool, I trust your opinion because I trust you. I like who you are. Then I'm assuming you're hanging around with other lions as well, or a little cub lion that wants to come up. Then cool, let me help this guy become the real lion he wants to be, or she. So
Dude, that's dope because you might really, really change somebody's life. Because I'm sure you feel the same way. Martial arts changed my life, right? I'm sure it changed yours.
Yeah.
And so there's some kid out there at a crossroads right now. And if his parents reach out to you and he gets into, martial arts instead of the streets, that could be the defining moment of his entire existence.
Like I had a guy, Garrett de la Cruz, was a fighter, flyweight fighter. He's already past the prime of his career. He's just fighting for the fun of it, journeyman, just enjoying the sport while he can. And he helps a bunch of amateurs now. So he's giving back to the gym. When I was younger coming up, before I got into the UFC, he's like, dude, stay at my place. You don't have to pay anything. You need my car? Here, use my car. You can drive it 4 hours, 5 hours a day. I don't care.
Right.
And so I put all these miles, and he had a Challenger, which was like phenomenal for me. And so I do all this stuff for him and to be free. And he goes years later, hey, man, I have some kids that I think are really good, just don't have the money. Can you sponsor them? I ended up sponsoring them last week, and they have a fight coming up, and they're both amateurs. I don't know if they want to be MMA fighters.
Right.
Worst comes to worst, it's putting them around positive people that hopefully are teaching them or mentoring them properly that they can be better people later on in life. Again, I've sponsored fighters who eventually ended up in the UFC, Chepe Marisco, Dan Arguileta, Nick Aguirre. There's a few other fighters that I'm missing. But the fact is, like, people get to that point. If you make it, dude, that's awesome. I'm happy for you because you achieved your goal. Or if not worse was worse, like you got out of this bad neighborhood and hopefully again, put yourself in front of positive role models. I've met you at the gym. We have a lot of fun and talk. Right after we were teaching technique yesterday.
Right.
So kids who just want to learn. I don't have the money for that, but that's free. You'll be able to do that. And then if you're able to give money to help others that are good people that, want an opportunity, you understand fighting, dude, that we don't make money off of this or insurance bills or random bills. It sucks. So being able to help, especially young adults too, it's a cool opportunity.
Yeah, so I don't know if the people watching this understand, but like you're an excellent coach too.
Thank you.
Like so so Shorty's next fight is gonna be at 125 pounds, right? I'm closer to like 6'4", like 260. You know what I mean? And I've got him in a position, right, that nobody gets out of, right? It's like one of my best positions. This dude not only gets out, he reverses me, right? And then after, I'm like, dude, how did you do that? He's breaking it down in like detail that like, okay, I'm like, talk to me like a 4-year-old, bro. You know what I mean? And he's like breaking it down step by step, and everything happens for a reason, and there's a rhyme and a reason to it all. And I just want to commend you on that.
I appreciate
because
that,
there's some
Thank
people
you.
that are athletic that like you ask them what they did, and they're like, oh, bro, I was just flowing, or like, oh man, you just gotta feel the movement, Whereas like you have like a step by step, like this is why this happens, and then if they do this, then you do this, and this is how I did this, and I did it like that because of that, So
I appreciate
yeah,
that.
that was dope.
I try to. The biggest thing for me when I try to teach is, one, hopefully you understand it.
Right.
Try to break it down to whether you're a 4-year-old, a 20-year-old, a 4-year-old, whatever the case may be, to get it on your layman's terms. But then also go, this technique, just the philosophy of it, of how it's worked, could be used in other ways, not just solely this, position.
Right.
So when we came to like, I rolled you from the crucifix position, and we, in wrestling, you make the letter T.
Right.
This, you can't move, but you ever seen the movies where like guys are fighting and they grab each other and they start rolling down the hill because they're like, oh, it's holding on. I call judo like a heart. If you hold on, even if it's a toxic relationship, you guys are going to still keep on going and push through. But once one person lets go or stops trying, damn, that relationship's over. So that momentum is done. So when you make the letter L or an I, whatever the case you want to be, and you guys hold on, you can keep rolling. So you got me the crucifix. I was able to get my arm out. I created that L or the I, and I was able to grab you and roll you because you didn't have the balance for it.
Right.
So it's like that's the little positions, and then you can use that in different positions later on. So it's for me, like, it's just fun. People catch me in half guard, and they'll bring their knees together. I'm like, oh, you're straight, and I'll just hip them over super easily. And they're like, what the fuck? And I'm like, it's science, dude. Like, and that's all kind of my coach growing up as well, Master Bob. So I appreciate that. Thank you.
Nice.
Because after I showed him, I think 2 days later, he's like, oh, Shorty, can you show that move to these guys? I'm like, oh yeah, cool, this is awesome. And
yeah, because I put him in it and he didn't get out.
Yeah.
And I'm like, dude, you got to talk to Shorty about it, because he's like, dude, I'm pretty good there. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And almost nobody gets out. And then when you got out, I was like, okay, this is something different, especially because there's a weight difference. It's not like I put Francis in it and Francis just like, bench pressed me with one
Muscles
arm.
right out of it, yeah.
And I can't show somebody how to do that. Hey, go be 280 pounds and really strong. Like that's not the answer for everybody, right?
I fucking hate that. I'll be on some people. I'm like, yeah, and I'm like, this is bullshit. Why is it like falling?
Yeah.
But it's part of the sport. But look at the weight classes back in the day. It was all absolute.
Right.
Hoist Gracie and just kind of having fun.
People don't realize what a G Hoist Gracie was. And I mean, is to this day. But at that time, like, put yourself in this position. You're 170, 180 pounds or whatever. And they're like, hey, that guy over there is a Division I wrestler. He weighs 265 pounds. Go fight him till one of you quits, And then Hoist is like, all right, I got you. Just put the gi top on, went out there and just was like, hey, I'm going to strangle these dudes.
It's crazy. I mean, I could just be saying it, but I heard he was the worst one
out of all of them.
Gracies.
I've heard that too. Well, I don't know about the worst one, but I heard he wasn't the best fighter out of all of them.
And he just showed up and
I heard they put him in there because he was the scrawniest looking.
I heard he was the best looking.
Oh, okay.
Oh, God.
No, because they said, this is what I heard. If they put Hickson in there, Hickson had like 6-pack abs and like pecs and like kind of shoulder muscles. And they were like, oh, that's not the better testimonial for Gracie Jiu-Jitsu. But if we put this scrawny guy in there, right? And he's like, whatever.
Yeah.
He shows up and he does it. I mean, I'm sure that probably had a little bit to do with it. But, there's probably some story behind the scenes that we don't know about where like, Hickson was going to take over Japan and then Hoist was going to be the American guy or, something.
He ended up having the longest MMA fight in history at like 90 minutes in Japan.
Hickson?
No, Hoist.
Oh, that's who?
A Japanese fighter. I can't remember the guy's
jab?
name. Yeah, some jack.
Kamikaze
Whatever.
dude.
Oh my gosh. We'll take it to the next
Bro,
level.
you're on one today, man.
But
Fuck
Fired up.
them, right? Pearl Harbor,
This
dude.
guy.
never forget.
Never
but,
forgot.
I love anime though, so hey man, you made up for it. I guess that's probably gonna go bad too.
Little Naruto and Inuyasha.
Yeah, we're happy.
Solved
Cool.
everything.
Thank you, Dragon Ball Z for me. But you know whatever. But yeah, they had a 90-minute match. Given I believe Hoist lost, but still 90 minutes.
Right.
Whether you're grappling it, but it was an MMA fight. Like just imagine that. That sucks.
Right. That it's tough to do anything for 90 minutes, no matter how enjoyable, you know? And I know, Shorty's shaking his head. But yeah, but let alone fighting another man, you know? That's nuts. They
Diddy parties.
I could do something else for another 90 minutes.
oh, what? You two are kind of sitting a little close to each other right now.
No, you should see. There's times he's like cheek to cheek.
I think the people are requesting, can we do the rest of this podcast with you on each other's laps?
Can I hold his pocket?
You want to hold his pocket?
Can I be the big spoon?
Can I
Oh
go
my
back
God.
to playing with his cauliflower ear?
If he sits, can he sit facing me?
I'm
Man, that's a bad one, buddy. That's like me every morning. It's hard.
oh.
Dude, that's like a stone. That's wild.
Hard and lumpy.
Yeah, that's one of the hardest ones I've ever felt.
Unintentionally hard? Yeah.
That's crazy how hard yours is.
Sadly, it's not what she said, but whatever.
Right.
It was a
Did
bad
your girl
day.
ever like bite it?
So there was when I first got this, there was a guy named Josh Sampa who's one of the guys who fought like Ryan Benoit in the UFC. So back in the day, and I was getting this cauliflower, and he takes my back and he goes. And just starts biting me. I was like, you motherfucker, you know? And I couldn't get out, so it was even worse. But no, I've had people. This ear is a lot better because I put like stuff on the calicure, the little magnets that you're able to press it. This one, dude, I stabbed it so many times. I didn't know there's a certain needle that you need to stab it with,
Right.
like a gauge needle. You need like a 19 or bigger gauge needle because the blood is coagulated, so it's thicker. So you can't just stick diabetic needles in there.
Right.
Dude, I went to Walgreens. I'm like, I can't get those because some states it's like pharmaceutical needles. So I'm like, fine, diabetic needles. And I was just stabbing it. You know, it was bad. So this is why this year is ugly compared to like this year's a lot smoother and cleaner.
Yo, did the magnets give you a headache?
Not for me.
They were driving me crazy, bro. I was like ripping them off my ears at one point.
But you got pretty good ears. I mean, I can tell you've had cauliflower, but overall, like you got the hole, you have a formation of a regular ear.
Right, and so that was very intentional.
Hey, man. Don't try to discredit him. He's got cauliflower ears.
No, I'm not saying. But that's why I said he had cauliflower ear.
No,
You kind of got him. You know,
Don't make
you
him
ain't
feel
got
like-
these motherfuckers. But
Don't make him feel worse. Yeah, I look tough, but
Right.
yeah.
Yeah, so I mean, Shorty does have 40, 50 fights. You know what I mean? I'm only at like 20 overall. 10 amateur and then 11
This fucker's
pro.
a live by the sword, die by the sword. Guy.
Yeah.
He doesn't care.
No, yeah. So I've either won or got knocked out trying to win in every fight. I've never gone to a decision. And at one point I may have ears like Shorty Torres, but I get really maintenance mode when they start flaring up, right? So I stuff them with wet paper towels to maintain their shape, and then I wrap my head, and every day, yeah.
I'd never heard of the wet paper towel thing.
Drain it, form the paper towel kind of like your ear, put it here, wrap your head, and it stops it from kind of expanding as much.
Dude, I went to the when I had this. I went to the hospital because I couldn't get a needle in Wisconsin. So when I go there, I went to the emergency room. I was like, "Hey man, could I just get someone to drain this?" They're like, "Oh, you're gonna have to sit down, wait 2 hours, all the random bullshit." And my pain, or the pain in my ear, felt like it was gonna explode because it was so fat, like it was ridiculously fat. And that's the only reason I went to the hospital. I was like, dude, I think this is gonna pop on me. I don't want this to be what was that one Kimbo Slice fight where like he elbowed the guy and his ear was like falling off.
Right. Yeah.
So I was like, I don't want that to happen. I go to the hospital. This young doctor, no older than me at the time, he just starts making fun of me. He's like, all right, you're a fighter. Don't you want the cauliflower ears? Blah, 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 ha, ha. And I'm like, dude, just drain my ear. That's all I care about.
You're like, drain my fucking ear, man.
And
I'm in
there's, like-
pain.
and you've had cauliflower. There's soft spots in your ear that that's where the needle goes. You pull it out a lot easier compared to like you just stab the ear and try to, it doesn't get all the blood. So this guy didn't care. He's like, dude, the ear's not gonna work. He goes, just do the thing you were saying, like wrap it and kind of like compress it. Their problem was, so my ear is practically completely drained. So it's just like floppy skin in a sense. And he wrapped it and he's like, yeah, just sleep on your head and you'll be fine. Dude, I woke up fucking terrified because I take off the wrap and I look, my ear is like this thin, this fucking thin, and it was like this wide. I felt like Joe Lozon. but like, you know, his ears are like this. And no offense to Joe Lozon. But dude, I felt like an elephant. I felt like Dumbo. My ear was no bullshit like this because I slept on it. It looked like you like flattened Play-Doh. And so it looked like my ear was this fat. And I was just like, oh my God, my ear is going to be like this for the rest of my life. Holy shit. And so I let it be. And then I put, you know, my headgear on. And then it slowly just like decompressed down and you know, formed back naturally. And then, well, I got hit again and that shit blew up. So I had to keep on stabbing it myself.
And mine was hanging down. It was so heavy up top that it was hanging like this. You know, and I was like, I can't let this stand. You know what I mean? So that's why I was so diligent with it. Because, you know, had it been not quite as bad, the routine to get it to stay looking somewhat normal is, you know, you want to keep training, right? Now you're involved in headgear. Now you're draining it 2-3 times a day. It gets into a whole process.
I know fighters that don't have like the hole anymore.
Right.
Like the ear hole. They can't even put like regular, like the Apple AirPods.
Buds, yeah.
Right.
They have to put like the little circle ones in there and like jam it in their ears.
Yeah, how
like,
does that happen,
Or
though?
just because you can get cauliflower in your entire ear.
Yeah, I know. Like, how
no
does
matter
that
what.
happen?
What, the cauliflower?
Like that,
Okay.
like deep in. You know what I mean?
Well, I mean, it's anywhere in all technicality, but like the way cauliflower starts is like if I punch you really hard in your arm, what's gonna happen? The blood's gonna coagulate. You're gonna get a bruise. That's how bruises happen. The same thing happens here, but because of the cartilage, the blood can't seep out as fast, so it gets stuck in that position. Eventually, if it can't circulate well enough, it dies, and then it coagulates, so it dies and it stays there and it gets hard. So that's what this is. But that's also your body adapting to the sport that you do to make yourself tougher. It's like shin conditioning or, you know, making your knuckles harder or whatever the case may be. Constant contact eventually makes your body harder. It's the same thing with the ears. This, if I put this on your chest, like, give me your hand. Like, if I do this to you, that shit kind of sucks.
What? That was crazy.
Yeah, so I could use this as a weapon now.
Has anyone ever done that to you?
No, you
like-
feel it when you're.
Yeah,
you're in
it
it.
sucks.
But has anyone ever used it as a weapon against you? Because
well,
that
so-
actually hurt.
Yeah.
If he and I are pummeling for head position, no diddy.
Yeah.
You know, and his ears dragging across my face or something like that, you're like, oh yeah, it's an incentive to.
It's literally like a little rock.
Yeah, it sucks. I do this to like people when I take them down. I go for the single leg and I put my ear on their chest to like push them over.
Right.
They'll feel the little rock here and they're like, oh.
I'm telling you, that's one of the hardest ones I've ever felt.
Thank you. Appreciate that.
Hey, my guy.
Those singles moms for those foundation things? Yeah. No? All right.
Listen, and yo, there's a sign out here off camera that says "Welcome to the jungle" or something like that. But you got a little bit of jungle fever, man, from what I'm peeping.
Him or me?
You.
Well,
Right.
Oh,
yeah.
yeah.
I noticed a new addition to the entourage, bro.
Yeah.
Let's go, my guy.
I like black girls.
Okay, so you.
Jungle fever was wild.
So
I like black girls, man.
so that's a current thing, or that's like what you've always just tended to be like? Because some
dude.
people like, you know, zodiac signs. Other people like.
Yo, I'm a Leo, so I must
Okay.
love black women. You know,
Yeah, is that what it is?
That's how it works, I think.
Okay.
Dude, it just went darker. I don't know. So I've had 3 main relationships. I've dated plenty in between,
Hey,
but
player.
it went from white girl to Latina to black girl.
Okay.
You know, so it went from like Polish girl to Mexican to like so brown, like lazy, just, you know, and then just fuck it, we're going darker. So my complexions just got darker and darker. And I think it was one of those things like once you went black, you never go back. It's real. It's real.
No
It's just-
flavor, salt,
Yeah.
salt and pepper spice.
Dude, not even gonna lie to you. So obviously, I'm Mexican. Fucking name's Jose. So one of my favorite foods is enchiladas.
Okay.
And enchiladas you can have with cheese.
Okay.
And that's kind of like the fast, easy way, cheap way to make it. And I remember my Polish girlfriend, super pale, super white, blonde hair. She goes, "Oh, I love enchiladas. I'll make you some enchiladas." I'm like, "Okay." We're in high school, you know. So I'm like, "Fuck, she cooks. Hell yeah, I'm gonna wife this girl up one
Right.
day."
That's my egg theory, but yeah.
She fucking grabs like a lasagna pot, and I'm thinking she's gonna make lasagna. She grabs, you know, the tortilla, this cheese, folds it, and puts the like ragu, but pretty much the salsa all over
Right.
it, and then puts it in the fucking microwave for like 5 minutes, and then everything melts perfectly. And she goes, "Here you go, I made you some enchiladas," and I'm just like, oh, fuck, this is what the rest of my life is going to be? Like,
Right.
holy, like, have you ever seen,
She
no
made a
offense,
mistake.
have you ever seen white people or white mothers make food and it involves no seasoning. It's just that white plain ass chicken with rice, and they cook it all in the boiling water in the same pot. Like,
But my neighbor hits me with that every 4th of July when he barbecues. He brings over the most blandest chicken,
raisins and potato salad.
Attention to white people, man. Stop being stereotypical, dude. Like, I got to deal with this shit now. They think I don't like spice in my food. I go to a Mexican restaurant and I'm like, yeah, can I get some salsa with that? They give you they're like red or green, and they're like, you eat salsa, right? And I'm like, yeah. They're like, but it's spicy. I'm like, dude.
I get that.
Now I'm getting racially profiled at fucking Roberto's.
It's okay because he's Chinese.
Okay.
He was racially profiling his son. He made his son do child labor here. He was the one that put the cows
Chinese,
in here.
by the way.
You're not Chinese?
Not at all.
Your last name is Hong.
You're Venezuelan.
Go fuck yourself. No, that was Roy. I'm Mexican, Puerto Rican. We're close.
I'm Korean.
Really?
Yeah.
No, but
so your father never said he loved you then? No,
He
because
thought
my
you were gay growing
kickboxing
up.
coach was Korean, and he was like, dude,
they're a little rough around the edges.
it's a different energy.
Was he afraid that you were gonna be gay growing up?
No, but he's a Hawaiian Korean,
Okay.
so he's not even Hawaiian, but he just grew up in Hawaii for a couple of generations,
Okay.
so he's more Hawaii.
So he's got a little aloha.
all aloha basically.
Okay.
Yeah.
You ever seen Johnny Tsunami? You ever seen that show on Disney back in the day, or the movie on Disney back in the day?
Yeah, that's
Have
one of
you?
my favorite. Yeah.
Is your grandfather or that grandfather like your father? The guy who played Shang Tsung, just super cool and chill.
Nah, not really. My dad's rough around the edges too. He's got a lot of aloha, but the dude scraps a lot.
Oh, okay.
Yo, and so,
So he's like BJ Penn.
Kind
Okay,
of.
cool,
Yeah.
yeah.
But BJ Pen's wild right now.
Oh yeah, I bet.
what's BJ on right now?
Everybody is wearing a mask basically. Like all the politicians, they're wearing masks and
For what?
He doesn't like it.
like they're wearing skin masks and
Okay. I thought you meant
They're making skin masks.
yeah.
right. Okay, I get what you're saying. Yeah.
Okay.
So there's a prevailing theory. Like, for instance, some people say, and I don't agree with this, right? I agree with whatever the news tells me. So I'm on the side of the censors who are going to listen to this podcast. I agree with you guys. Yeah, social distance, all that. But they're saying that these lifelike, let's call them masks that you would put on like a stunt double or somebody in a movie, are now being worn by politicians. And let's say there's not really a Oprah now. They just have an Oprah mask on a lady pretending to be Oprah. And then they're speculating completely wrongly that Joe Biden went from being 6 feet tall to 6'6", because there's some videos where he's very, very tall compared to his wife.
He's doing backflips.
Right.
and
Yeah.
shit.
You know what I mean? And then they're zooming in on his neck, which appears to be a mask, even though he has a lifelike face. If
He's
that
doing
makes any sense.
backflips in one video and then falling down the stairs in another video.
Yeah.
They're like,
basically.
wait, that's fake.
And so that's what BJ's on is
Yeah.
just demasking the masked
Politicians and
Illuminati.
leaders.
Yeah.
And the secret society, I think was the word he used.
Oh wow. Yeah, no so I randomly ended up in Tijuana at a fight, and one of my teammates was fighting, so I was there to support him, and one of BJ Penn's teammates was fighting. And, everybody's winning, everybody's happy. After, they're like, oh, let's go to Revolution, right, in Tijuana, right? And essentially, this is the craziest street in North America. And there's a lot of these places, which I didn't understand were whorehouses, right? Mm-hmm. So the leader of the group, who's like, oh, I live in San Diego and TJ, I know where to go. He brings us all to a whorehouse, right? And I'm like, what is going on here? So it's me, another dude who fights MMA, his coach is in the UFC, and then I'm sitting next to BJ Penn. And all of a sudden, this woman who happens to be a prostitute, I'm sure she's a nice lady, she's getting into it with a customer who's grabbing her without paying, right? And then she pushes him. He goes to grab her wrist. She slaps him. He gets mad. She grabs a beer bottle out of one of our teammates, Samo's hands, and she goes to hit him with the beer bottle. Now a riot is starting to break out, and BJ Penn pulls me to the side, and we dip out. And I'm like, dude, I'm a white belt at the time. I'm like, how surreal is my life? We unintentionally ended up at a Tijuana whorehouse, and BJ Penn saved me from a prostitute riot.
That's a fucking hell. I just sparred with him. That was it.
Right.
That's a hell
I
of a
thought you were
story.
going to say BJ Penn just decked this bitch in the face.
Oh, no.
He's like, it's your fault.
She just go hit him with a bottle, and BJ Penn just smoked her.
Yeah.
Right, no.
Then tossed in 100 and left.
No, I don't even know how it ended up. We bounced, but it was interesting to go with a group of 30 people end up someplace you didn't anticipate, and then kind of see who's into that sort of thing and who's not, you know what I mean? And it's not the people you would think.
Yeah.
Like I was there with one dude and
My whole life story, by the
yeah.
way. Just
No,
fucking-
he was picking out. So I'm not recommending you guys do this, right? But he was picking out women who look like his sister's friends.
What?
Right? And so he's like, dude,
That's fair.
yeah, it's the best of both worlds. I
Yeah.
get to be with this chick, but I also get to imagine that it's my sister's friend I had a
That's
crush
fair.
on in high
That's
school.
a good fantasy.
Right? Yeah. And so that was his mode of operating in that environment.
It's not a bad thing. I'm
Right.
cool with that.
I thought you were gonna stop at sister. That's why I thought it was weird.
Oh, yeah. No.
No, that's the Vince McMahon storyline.
Yeah.
That's his documentary. Netflix, give us 10%, please.
Yeah, so we're doing Fight Circus soon, and I'm curious to know, Shorty Torres, are you prepared to do a you on stilts match versus Blob Tang?
That would be hilarious. One, to just be on stilts, and I would need to practice that before I get
Right.
at it. Can I hit him with the stilts?
That's now we're talking. Now we're getting full Fight Circus.
You know, because I got to manipulate the stilts with my hands, and I'm not going to stand still. And I highly doubt he's going to wait in front of me, to punch me. And, so can I hit him with the stilts to set up my overhands?
Yeah. What else could we do? You could hop on my shoulders, and we could do a chicken fight against somebody else.
Yeah.
But then you'd have to find two like medium height guys or another short dude and another big
Oh, no,
guy.
in Thailand, we can easily find the short guys.
Yeah.
That's fine.
Yeah,
That's done.
Thailand, you can find anything.
We could
you're
probably,
looking for.
honestly, we could probably have John Nutt do it.
Yeah, bring me. I'll go on the bottom of somebody else. I'll go on the bottom of the Thai.
I knew you were a bottom bitch. God damn it.
Are you prepared for Thailand though? That's the
Bro, you
question.
can throw a lady boy on my neck. I'm there, bro. Let's do it.
Just-
that dick in my ear all
You
day.
have
Give
to,
me a
like,
cauliflower.
You have
You
to
know
like
what I'm
move
saying?
it over.
Roman soldier helmet. You know that one where you put
Oh
it.
my god! Just,
Yeah, no. So
it has the feathers too.
Thailand does have a lot of that going on out there, and they did have a lady boy fight in Fight Circus against a man, and she
Beat his ass.
She did, yeah.
Let's go.
She was a little boy, right? And she grew up fighting since she was like 4 years old and became like, a local champion in Muay Thai and then transitioned. So you're fighting like a savage Thai fighter with fake tits. You know what I mean? And this dude came over. He's like a European Thai champion. And she's like throwing sick combos at him and checking kicks and returning kicks and going shin to shin. You know what I mean?
Oh shit!
Yeah, and like elbowing him and he's bleeding. It gets nutty, bro. It's
Very nutty.
Very, very nutty.
yeah, and then that event was at a place called Illusion in Thailand, and Illusion is on Walking Street in Patong Beach in Phuket. That's the craziest place. We're talking TJ.
Yeah.
Walking Street is the craziest place I've ever been in my whole life.
Why?
Dude, it's 10,000 times Vegas. It's 50 times TJ. Dude, okay. I got non-consensually masturbated in the street 3 times. You know what I mean? Through my clothing, right? Like,
Oh, I was like, you just walking with your dick out?
no. Like you're getting groped. They're grabbing handfuls, right? Like you're getting dragged by your shirt. People are trying to pull you into
By
their
people,
place.
do you mean men?
No,
or-
I mean
Lady
men with
boys,
tits.
Right. So
or-
okay. So the culture in Thailand is this:
Chicks with
there's
dicks.
men, there's women, and there's lady boys, right? And they're separate entities, right? And essentially, if you don't mess with the lady boys, they're not going to mess with you. And in culture over there, for anyone who's going to travel over there, it's very socially acceptable to just ask, right? So if you walk up to a woman and you're like, "Hey, you look nice. I wanted to meet you," and then you notice she's got like a little bit of a raspy voice or something, you just go, "Hey, are you lady or lady boy?" Right? And then she'll answer you, And so the issue is that we're not going to get into who did it, but somebody on the
Did he?
trip got
Did he?
drunk and didn't ask, right?
Yeah,
and-
so the whole Hangover 2 type thing.
Literally, like we were making jokes that it was going to happen, but it literally happened to where like the girls were like telling us, "Your friend in there with lady boy," you know what I mean? Oh, your
Yeah.
friend like lady boy, he with lady, right? You know what I mean? And they're like, they just keep saying it over, and I thought they were joking, but they were dead ass serious. And then it turns out that he had an adventure with someone while he was drunk who he did not intend to. Right. So
Is that a story to bring home? Like,
Right.
Yeah, wait, that happened on your trip out there?
Yeah, and it was somebody who so they flew 70 people out there for production, right? So it was somebody that was out there with the crew,
Yeah.
right? But I didn't know them like personally or
and
anything
it was
like
probably
that.
like their first time going.
Yeah, and you know they're getting tipsy and they're acting like, oh man, we're gonna fuck some bitches tonight and da 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 da. You know, and
somebody got fucked.
Yeah, there's a whole energy. Like another guy on the squad like ran through like 4 or 5 chicks bareback.
Like chicks?
Yeah, like girls. It just was
Girls,
busting
okay.
in them. You know what I mean? Like,
Oh, shit.
He's like, dude, there's no child support laws. Let's go. Just wild, right?
Up and dead.
Yeah, and I'm like, dude, this is bizarro land. It's the nuttiest thing in that
Literally.
particular district inside of Patong.
Man, you got to be a
Phuket.
sniper, huh? To like pick out some chicks out there. Like he was like 4 for 4.
Well, I mean, you also got to ask too. So it's like, no, okay,
Right.
no.
Well, and so
okay.
it's a little bit more separated than that. You know, it's not like everybody's just intermingling and there's no way to tell. Like
there's
there's
like areas.
yeah, you can start getting more into like, oh, that's clearly a ladyboy bar. Some of the chicks look like full on dudes. You know
So
what I mean?
even like the more like feminine,
Right.
attractive looking ones would be.
Right. And so, but then there's also ones that are like hotter than the biological woman bar next door.
Houdinis.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. And you're like, dude, that can't be a ladyboy. And it's like, no, that is.
I
right,
need
yeah.
to find out.
Right. No, you know what I mean? And so there's people over there that are like, dude, I don't care. Right. Like, she's hot. She's the hottest one out of them all, you know? And so then I'm starting to do ratios in my head of like, okay, if she's over this height, then it's, you know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
we're going through likelihoods and, you know, I mean, a lot of Thai women aren't 5'10", you know? So that's like a warning sign right off the jump, right? So if you see a chick that looks perfect, she's 5'10", she's Thai, and everything is done, like she's got, you know, lip injections, she's got fake tits, she's got a BBL, like everything is plastic surgery on her, and she looks perfect, that's probably a dude.
Yeah,
It's a drop.
If, if it's too good to be true,
It's a Star
stay
Wars
away.
moment, right?
Or if they're like small and stocky like me, it's like yeah, let's not.
Yeah, a little bit shorter, but with like thick wrists. You
Yeah,
know
I
what I
mean,
mean?
That's
And
the
a strong
thing. At this
handshake.
point, does it matter? You know what I
Right,
mean?
right.
Like if you're going for a short, stocky girl, does it matter at this point?
Have you seen the Pony Show in TJ?
I have not, but I've heard about it. Have you?
No, I've heard about it. That's why I was like, do you know what the Pony Show is?
I've heard rumors. You know what I mean? Legends.
Basically, the rumor has it that everyone watches a show of some girl get fucking demolished by a donkey.
Yeah, that's wild.
Like-
like I don't know if I'm happy for the donkey or sad for the girl.
And like,
you know
how
what I
much
mean?
does she make? You
Yeah,
know?
like
Right,
how
yeah.
much do people like watch that type of stuff? Because like
Dude,
I
you'd
hear
be
about a lot
surprised.
of people, you know, like
You-
humping dogs and whatnot and
you
being
ever
humped by
see-
dogs. Like you hear a lot of comedians joke about it. It's like,
Right.
is it something like people actually like do or like
Well, you
watch?
hear me out. Remember when Lana was on? She was like, "Yeah, you ever see like some dude, a homeless dude, take a shit?" And you're like, you stare at him, you're like, "Yo, what the fuck?" But for some reason, you can't help but not look away.
But it's
You
okay
just
if a
keep
dog does
looking.
it?
I'm just saying.
Right.
You see, overall, the analogy is you see some fucked up shit.
Right.
Sometimes you just can't look away.
Yeah, if you ever see, I mean, if you saw a guy shitting right now on the sidewalk, would you not laugh a little bit?
Oh, yeah, exactly. And I'm gonna stare at him like, "Damn, dude,
Like,
he got diarrhea
If
too."
he dropped
like,
one log that was like 2 feet long,
it's like, oh, he used to be gay.
Yo, that's an impressive log, my guy.
Yeah.
Yeah, and in TJ, I've heard that they have that. But in Thailand, I know for a fact that they have ping pong shows.
Oh yeah,
what's
yeah.
that?
Oh,
They're shooting ping pong balls across the room, and you know, they got
Wait, what do you mean?
like you could put a water bottle in an orifice and fill yourself up with water,
What's
and
an
then
orifice?
like shoot out.
No, I'm not even joking. What is an orifice?
Right. Like if you're a woman, you have a place that could be filled with liquids.
Like a kangaroo.
Okay, exactly.
Yes.
Yeah. Right. So we're gonna call it a kangaroo
something
show.
a baby comes out of. Yes,
Right,
yes.
yeah. And so then this
Hello,
person is
Joey.
trained to be able to shoot water like across a room and
I've
put out
I've
like
seen
a
this-
candle.
I've seen
Right,
this
yeah.
in person before.
Oh,
seen it.
you have?
In Hawaii, it's closed down. There's a place called the Alley Cat. Asian lady. She used to hop up on the bar,
Right.
and everybody used to be cheering like, "Do it, do it, do it," and she would lean back, and she would just, huh, huh, huh. and she would just shoot these goldfish out of her pussy into a goldfish bowl.
Oh
What?
my god!
Yeah, so I never heard the goldfish.
Honestly, that's really
Right.
impressive.
Yeah.
we heard ping
And
pong
the goldfish
balls.
were still alive?
They were swimming around in the fishbowl after.
Wow. They're
One of the most
survivors.
amazing things I've ever seen in my life.
Yeah, I wonder what it smelled like.
Oh
But,
my god!
I think
more
fish.
fishy.
Yeah,
More
fish.
fishy. How does that work?
Smell like Asian pussy.
Oh my God.
So, God.
Even worse, right?
So, I mean, you're Asian. I don't know, so you understand that more than I do. I can tell you about the jungle stuff, but
Oh.
oh my gosh, yeah, talk about stereotypes.
Yo, do you notice? Because I'm obviously not in the Asian community, right? Like I'm white, right? But I hear rumors that like there's like Asian on Asian racism. Is that like real?
Yeah,
Oh,
they
yeah,
hate
you
each
guys-
other. They
yeah.
hate
Oh,
each other.
wow.
They all hate the Chinese, right?
Okay.
because they're all labeled as Chinese.
Is there like a hierarchy of like who hates who?
Was it, I actually?
They all hate each other. Like the
Okay.
Japanese are known to be like the classiest, but they're also like some of the most racist. The Chinese
Okay.
are like the dirtiest, and then there's like different factions of the Chinese that all hate each
Koreans
other.
are like the most stuck up. Filipinos are at the bottom of the bottom. They don't give a fuck either.
Yeah, the Filipinos are viewed as like Mexicans basically.
Yeah.
Right. Cause so I dated a Chinese girl and she wouldn't go outside in the sun, you know, because she's like, I don't
Yeah.
want to get tan
Yeah.
because that'll make me look lower class.
Yeah.
Because then that means that like my family is field workers
Yeah.
as opposed to like, I guess aristocrats or like professionals.
Right.
Yeah. So
Koreans are like that too.
Oh, okay.
Mexicans kind of do that. I mean, we just naturally, if you're darker, it's
Right.
kind of like the racism we had in the States, where it's like you're black or you're darker, you're probably not going to be on TV as much.
Oh wow.
That's how Mexico used to be.
So Canelo's like the man.
Huge.
So
yes.
like if
Yeah.
I spoke fluent Spanish and I was on TV in Mexico, I would be the main character or the interviewer or whatever. And then like for example, Lazy's darker, so he would barely like even when
we
they
gotta bleach that boy.
actually when they try to apply for visas, the darker you are, the harder it is to apply for a visa in Mexico because they naturally stereotype. Because the darker people are usually the workers.
and so that's through the government in Mexico
Yeah.
that is stereotyping.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
Oh, Mexicans are racist towards Mexicans.
I
They'll,
mean-
they'll start to pick out the darker
They're
Mexicans.
racist or honest. You know what I mean?
Yeah, oh, it's that too. But we start to pick out the darker Mexicans and kind of go from there.
Oh wow.
Yeah. So I'm fine.
Okay.
I
And
was like, I'm good.
So that's how you got in Lazy Boy's corner. He was like, I need a light skinned Mexican in my
it's-
corner
it's-
to bring
it's like-
some
it's like-
validity to
It's
the
It's like the
squad.
black people having the white friend to talk to the cops. I'm the white friend.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah,
like-
dude. So I heard that I can get paid if I go to China to be white. Like they'll dress me up like a doctor and they'll stand me next to people who are doing like medical research, and because they have like an American white guy, it like brings validity
It looks
to
like
it.
they buy
Right,
with
yeah.
somebody from Western medicine.
Yeah, and then they'll move me out of a doctor outfit into like a lawyer outfit, and
Yeah,
then they'll
yeah,
put
yeah.
me next to. We just won this case for this person or
Yeah,
whatever,
for
and
like
then,
billboards and shit.
yeah, and so like I would be just literally just paid to be a white dude who's just co-signing on
It's just like,
on their
yes.
accomplishments.
That would be an awesome job.
Right.
just being yourself.
Yeah, and I heard it starts at like 10 bands a month.
Oh
So,
my gosh.
Yeah.
You'd basically be Johnny Sins.
Why are you here, dude? The whole shit. Yeah, you could be everything. I look up to that man. With that being said, you play a different like person in Fight Circus, right?
Right. Yeah. So I wanted to do like a full on like 2-on-1 bare knuckle me versus
Two women.
Yeah.
You know.
Well, that's the reality show I was pitching, me and two women, right? But I'm saying in the Fight Circus, I wanted to go out and do something crazy. I was like, I had these ideas. I was like, dude, let's do the Gauntlet of Glory, right? Where every minute, like the Royal Rumble in WWE, every minute they send a new person out to fight me. And either I finish that guy in a minute and I get a rest, or he finishes me and it's over, or the minute's up and they send a new person, right? So it's like a Shark Tank. But I want to see how many people I can just scrap back to back. And they were like, hey, that sounds great. Why don't we do this? We're going to have you pro wrestle as a pimp who's beefing with a little person who happens to be a rival pimp. And I'm like, let's run it. You know what I mean?
So that's why they hired me. All right.
Yeah. And so essentially, they have me as a character, right, called Dong Master 3000, who's got very large genitals, right? And then he also is diabetic, right? So he needs snacks throughout
Type
the
1
day.
and type 2.
Right, yeah. Listen, both. But he keeps a cucumber in his pants too, which falls out from time to time, but it's only for snacking purposes. He has a very big penis, trust him, right? And so he's beefing with a rival pimp who is he's like 2'8" or 3'2" maybe. He's in that range, right? He's
little
not
taller.
Yeah. And I guess in that world, I would put him at like 3'2", You know what I mean? Just because like I don't want to say he's under 3 feet. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Because like that's the same thing like on Tinder, right? Like I'm 6'1" on Tinder, right? You know, you don't want to be under 6 feet, right? If you could
I
just
know.
right. I know. Right. Yeah. So anyway, so this 3 foot gentleman and I are like full on pro wrestling. And, you know, a lot of people think that pro wrestling is super fake. And, you know, obviously, you know, there's some scripts involved. But he had a scepter, like a pimp scepter, and he fucking hit me with it for real, and it broke on my head. He hit me that hard, and now my head's bleeding through my blonde wig in the match, you know? And I'm just like, dude, this dude's really going after it, you know what I mean? And then at one point, I'm ground and pounding him, and a punch slipped through, you know what I mean? And cracked him in the face, right? And then at the, you know, later on in the match, I'm supposed to take a slap, and he full on this. I mean, he's like a bodybuilding little person, right? He full on whack, right? And I'm like, dude, this dude really hit me right now. You know what I mean? And so it got kind of crazy out there, you know. And we're beefing over some chick named Jugs Judy who's got like, you know what I mean, a push-up bride. Yeah, it's wild, man. So
I fucking love Fight Circus.
Yeah.
They're actually trying to do an event here in Vegas,
Right.
hopefully by the end of the year.
yeah, so we're looking at several different venues right now, and we're doing Fight Circus Vegas. And Fight Circus Vegas is going to be one of the craziest things that you've ever seen in Las Vegas. I mean, you hear what we're already talking about. There's a dude named Blob Tang who's 300 pounds who fights Muay Thai while he's smoking cigarettes. They got a lady boy who's fighting dudes. They've got, you know, 2-on-1 matches where the owner of the creator of Fight Circus, his name's John Nutt, he got his arm broken because he was fighting two dudes at the same time while they're dressed like Double Dragon.
It was just kick sparring though, too, right? Like it was just a kick fight?
I think that fight was kicks only. And, you know, backstage, he's drinking like whiskey. And he's like, hey, I think I'm going to try and do a spinning wheel kick or something. He wants to land. He's got like crazy moves in his head that he's like really trying to land.
John's fucking awesome, dude.
Yeah. And keep in mind, John's got to be 6'4".
He's a big guy. 230, 240.
Right, yeah.
Like,
and he's not, let's say, at the peak of his physical training regimen right now, right? So he's kind of just getting up off the couch, right? Swigging whiskey and then going there. And he's like, I'm going to scrap these two dudes and I'm going to hit a turning side kick and then I'm going to hit a wheel kick on him, you know? And I'm like, bro, that's ambitious. But he hit it, right? He literally hit it. And I mean, in the fight, he got his arm broken in the process, unfortunately. But like, yeah, it gets real sketchy. There's bare knuckle fights in street clothes. They've got tire fighting as Elvis, where they got two Elvis dudes, you know, scrapping with their foot tied in a tire. They have KY jelly hockey fights where you wear a hockey jersey and bare knuckle, but you're on KY jelly on plastic, so you're sliding around like you're on ice skates. You know what I mean? And these dudes are just racking each other in the face, and there's blood flying and KY jelly splattering, and
dude, I'm just wondering how it's gonna get through the Vegas Commission.
Right.
That's like, I wonder how far Vegas will allow them to push it, because in Thailand, dude, no one gives a fuck.
Right.
Obviously, that side of the world, it's just entertainment.
Right.
You know, somebody dies, somebody dies. You know, but here they don't want someone breaking their arm for, you know, stuff like that. So it's like, one, how crazy could it get, or how well scripted can it get to where it could be that type? Because even like you said, WWE, yeah, it's scripted, but people get injured all the time.
right.
You know, so that's part of the sport. How crazy can it get?
Yeah, so like in WWE, Shane McMahon or like Mankind can either jump off or get thrown off a 20-foot steel cage through a table, and that's like acceptable, right? But once you get into actual fighting, right, then the commission does get involved. So my understanding right now is that the commission wants to regulate the fights that are going to be like full MMA, full boxing, full kickboxing, or full power slap, which are the things that they sanction in Nevada. Anything outside of that has to happen earlier on the card, and the commission will not be there for that. So that would be the quote-unquote entertainment portion, and then that's where you could get really weird. And then at the end, there's going to be, you know, like sanctioned MMA fights as it stands right now, right?
Dude, I'm excited for that.
That's gonna be awesome.
Yeah.
I can't wait for it.
Yeah, dude. And they're doing everything differently. Like they have cosplay, bunny rabbit, ring card girls with balloons instead of... They were hiring supermodels, like literal supermodels from agencies to come out and be the ring card girls, except they don't have ring cards, they have balloons. So they're like the round balloon girls. Everything was different out there. They have the Wheel of Violence, where you don't know what you're fighting until you spin the wheel, right? So they had two really attractive Asian girls, right? One of them, her name's Little Frog, and she can sing The Shallows like Lady Gaga perfectly, right? You know what I mean? So it's like she's going to karaoke Lady Gaga, The Shallows, right? As she walks to the ring to then spin a wheel of violence and fight another trained professional fighter female in a fight where they don't know what rule set it is till it lands. Every round is different or the same depending on where the wheel of violence lands.
Dude, that would suck.
Right.
What if because you know how like there's the
Sounds
jackpot.
entertaining as
there's
fuck.
like there's like the jack. I mean, you played Wheel of Fortune here. You know, it's like on the slot machines. Like there's the jackpot, and there's the smaller ones, and there's like the one you really don't want.
Right.
Like, is there one where it's like, fuck, we gotta do that? Yeah, just imagine. Just imagine. And,
right,
like,
so
how
what-
many categories do they give? Is it just like, all right, one out of you get one spin, but there's 5 different categories. You know.
Let's say you're good at Muay Thai, but you've only got a year of MMA. And I've got 10 years of MMA, but like I'm more of a grappler. Well, do we want it to land on MMA or do we want it to land on Muay Thai, right? If it lands on Muay Thai, you're going to come at me with elbows and you know what I mean, all kinds of stuff. And I'm going to try and survive. And hopefully the next round it's MMA and then I'll take you down, right?
Was
Like
it DJ versus Rod Ting in 1FC when they did that Muay Thai and then MMA fight. It was round 1 was Muay Thai and then it just kept on changing. Round 1 was supposed to be Muay Thai, MMA, Muay Thai, but obviously it ended at the MMA round.
Yeah, DJ just said all I had to do was get through round 1.
Yeah.
right. And so there's that in there. And then they've also got like there's a stripper battle with 2 strippers giving a simultaneous lap dance. And you guys are like, dude, that sounds dope. But the problem is it's male strippers, right? And then one of the male strippers.
How much they paying?
Yeah.
It's like-
No, so one of the male strippers' wife is the one getting a lap dance from the other male stripper, while the other male they're like sandwiching her. It's just like anything that's out of control can or will happen. So it's fights, but it's literally also a circus, right? The DJ has a clown, like Marshmallow, except he's got a clown head on. And he's full on DJing with a clown mask on, and they're encouraging everybody. So if you rock with cosplay, come in costume, right? Come in costume, wear whatever you want. The better your outfit, you might get moved up to the front, right? To be on camera.
Nice.
So yeah,
That's sick.
it's got like all these different elements of creativity involved.
Before we do get out of here, when are they supposed to be having that here in Vegas?
Yeah, we're looking at venues this week, right? So I would say November or early December. It's going to be.
So it should be by the end of the year, but they're doing another event in Thailand, I think October, like early October, so soon. Then they do another one in Malaysia, October 11th. Like they're doing multiple events.
Yeah,
And
it's
they're having some fun
popping in
things on
Asia
there.
right now.
Yeah, they're having a lot of, given there's not many rules, so they obviously can do whatever. And dude, the what was the big guy's name that was smoking the cigarette?
Blob Tang.
Dude, he has like 4 million views because of just a random reel that they made. Like that's how entertaining these fights are.
And so that's the views he's got on the Fight Circus page. Snoop Dogg shared him and 50 Cent shared him, right? And so that video has got a combined view count of, so they essentially downloaded the video and then put it on their video, right? And so on their channels, one of them's got like 40 million, one of them's got 50 million. He's got like 100 and something million views combined just from that one match. And then, I'm there live looking at it like, what the F is going on? You know what I mean? And then everybody else got the same reaction when they saw it. And now people are just sharing it like crazy. The first 2-on-1 match John Nutt did, he got another like couple 100 million. And it was him dressed in like a suit, like, and the caption is like, when you do too much coke and the molly hits and you're the boss, right? And he's fighting like 2 employees.
Right. I thought it was Dave Portnoy at first.
Right, yeah. And so some people think it's Scotty from On the Mat too, right? So like he has a certain look where he kind of looks like somebody you might know, you know what I mean? And so a lot of people were sharing it and then tagging like, Dave Portnoy or Scotty or whoever, but he's out there in a full like suit or whatever fighting 2 dudes and it's a real fight, right? So it gets really, really, really nutty. And it's gonna blow the roof off Vegas.
That's gonna be so sick. I can't wait for that.
Yeah, we're gonna get Shorty on there. We're gonna make it real weird.
We're gonna have some fun stuff.
Baby oil wrestling or something. I don't know what he's gonna do.
I'll play Diddy.
I'll play
Oh,
Diddy.
bro, you could play Diddy,
do it.
right?
The
I'll
Asian
play
Diddy.
Diddy.
Yeah,
The Asian Diddy.
Yeah.
that would be good.
I'm dark. I'm not too dark, so they won't like me. You know what I mean?
Oh my gosh. But man, I appreciate being on here. How can people follow you on social media?
King David MMA. Let's get it. If you like people acting wild in the cage after they beat the brakes off somebody and get beer thrown at them, then you might like one of my pinned posts. You know what I mean?
Yeah, he's like Eileen Perez. He chokes somebody out and just twerks on him after.
He's got the best post-fight speeches and just antics. Like
Oh, it's
one of the most
phenomenal, dude.
entertaining acts in MMA.
I appreciate that.
Dude,
I
you're
appreciate
awesome.
that.
I appreciate anything else before we go.
No, that's it. Just check out my other podcast, Still Friends Show at Alpuni Pagoda. That's
And we
it.
appreciate it,
Let's
guys.
go.
Thank you for all the love and support. Another episode of the Shorty Show.
See you guys.
Peace.